Is it possible to get a Department of Government Efficiency in Brevard County now? Somebody made the suggestion, I guess, as far as the Brevard workshop, right? The Speak Up Brevard workshop. Do you think it's possible that that will happen?
I mean, I think that's a great idea to have somebody who's really diving into the spending,
The numbers?
right, in Brevard County. And that's something that I really try to do on a regular basis, is really dive into the budget, see what we're spending the money on. For instance, there was a shower that we just paid for, $29,000, and it's just a regular stall shower. Should have cost between $5,000 and $7,000, and $29,000. So that's something that I'm very interested in, is digging through these contracts to see
I think I
what
need to
we're
become
spending.
a government contractor.
Right.
Or a government city manager.
Oh, yeah.
Because look at the numbers here. We have 2023 city comparables. Now, this is 2023 in the city of Melbourne. The highest employee, and we're assuming this is a city manager, right? $308,000. Man, $308,215. That's a lot of money. As City of Palm Bay, the highest paid employee was making $271,957, and of course we have Scott Larice. And remember, these are 2023 numbers. Scott made $229,429. That was in 2023, and of course he got a raise. We never did hear, Scott, if you got that raise, but in 2023 we have this, and this is from governmentsalaries.org. You made $229,429, and this salary was 343% higher than the average of the average Titusville city employee. That's an amazing stat, and you got more raises since then. And then the city of Cocoa employee salaries, the highest paid manager was highest paid employee was $150,532, and you think it's up to $197 now
I believe so.
for the city manager. And so if you look at some of these numbers, for example, in the city of Melbourne, the city of Melbourne's average salary is 25% lower than the USA average, but 11% higher than Florida state average. Isn't that interesting?
Wow.
And then you go to Palm Bay. Palm Bay average salary is 21% lower than the USA average, but 16% higher than the Florida state average. And then you get to Titusville. The city of Titusville average salary is 31% lower than the USA average, but 2% higher than the Florida state average. And then the same with Cocoa. Cocoa average salary is 29% lower than the USA average, but 5% higher than the Florida state average. Isn't that interesting? All of the Brevard County cities are higher than the state average. And a lot of it is the city managers, right? The city managers are just raking in the money.
Right.
I mean, it showed me the money, and these guys, and did we ever find out if Larice got a raise?
No.
It's just crickets. It just went silent. Did it ever become before the city council?
I believe they never gave up the records, if I'm remembering correctly. I think that a citizen requested, if the city manager got that raise, and they never got the records.
Now, that was on the agenda at one point, right? For them to talk about, but then it just disappeared.
Right.
So we're assuming he probably got another raise, which, that's what it is. But bloated government is bad. And I'm going to give you a result. And Ronald Reagan said that big government leads to less freedom. And it does. And here's an example of it. This is what bloated government does. So now, this is one of the requirements from the city of Titusville, one of the regulations, and this is under Livestock and Fowl, section 586. Notice what it says. This would be comical if it weren't true. Under the city of Titusville, to get chickens in your backyard, not a rooster, but hens, a permit is required. Application should be filed with the city clerk's office together with a filing fee to be set by resolution of the council. The applications must include a site sketch that determines the compliance with the regulations of the subsections above. Are you kidding me? The applicant must also provide proof of successful completion of the University of Florida or the IFA's backyard chicken training class and an equivalent class approved by the city manager or designee. The city manager or designee is authorized to revoke or issue a permit if the property is no longer in compliance or is creating a public nuisance. And so my whole thing, and I've talked to other people about this, property rights are very important under the Constitution.
Absolutely.
And if you want to live in a homeowners association, go live in a homeowners association. You don't use city government for your de facto homeowners association.
Right.
Show me where I'm wrong.
One thing that I would love to have Mr. Larice come on the show and explain to us what his expertise is in chickens.
I don't know. You want to be self-sufficient. You know, you got to pay this money and do all this crazy stuff. But, you know, right now, how much are eggs in the store?
Well, it's crazy. Look at the sheet. Look at how much they are telling you have to do to get chickens on your own property.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
This is government run amok. Thank God we live in Wendover. We have chickens. And there was no permitting process. This is insane. And so we do need this, not only for that part, but also overspending. Mm-hmm. How much overspending do you believe is happening in the Brevard County?
Oh, I believe it's rampant. And it's not just Brevard County. I think it's across all of our governments here, the cities, the county, the school board. I think it's everywhere. And it's because these contractors, they know that there's all this money out there for the taking. And so they overestimate what everything is going to cost. And, you know, that's a big problem.
Well, you know, one of the things that Ronald Reagan said is that you don't go to the city government in order to find business people.
Right.
You just don't. You don't see the businesses running the city government. You have in the city government some of the least business-minded people that there are. And so, and what do? All they think about is money and bloated government. They're just government geeks.
Right.
And all they can think about is just really finding more and more ways to actually make government bigger and bigger and bigger. Mm-hmm. Am I wrong, Stel?
No, they're milking the taxpayers, man. That's where they're getting all this money from. I mean, and ultimately it's the taxpayers' money, and then we're just sitting back and letting them continue to vote to raise our taxes over and over and over
which
again.
Titusville continues to do, and it's to fund this kind of nonsense. And if you don't get a hold of this as citizens and stop this nonsense, they're going to tax you into oblivion. And it's all because of big government, and that needs to stop.